We're in Nome, Alaska, and this is an area called the Second Beach. It's about a half a mile up from the existing beach. It's a geological formation that has raised up, and in it are a number of layers of gold-bearing material, and we found one here. This is at Al's pit, and Al took us to this spot where there's about a 3-inch wide band of red, very rich sand. So we've got 4 buckets worth here, and we're going to try our sluice and see what we get. Right now this is our 6-inch cleanup sluice. What we're going to do tomorrow is bring out the 12-inch. Actually we've got 2 12-inchers. I don't know that that's going to be necessary. But we'll expand our production a little bit tomorrow with the little 4-horse Honda. It works really quite nicely. We've got our hoses running over to our Popandson Sluice, set up so we can put a bucket right on top and feed in with a trowel.
Okay, Dad, tell me how you're working that thing.
Well, we just set the bucket up here, and this has got clay in it, so it's a little bit more difficult to see the diamonds through the water, but occasionally you get a glance, and as long as you can see the diamonds above the heavies, we're running fine. And at this rate, there's just no concern at all. The rock's probably 1.5 inches will run down this. We're running about 30 gallons a minute right now. It's a 12-inch wide sluice, 4 foot long.
And you're just hosing it out of the bucket.
Just hosing it right out of the bucket. You get a little up on top to get the slurry going, and hose it down from below, and it starts to slump, and you just work it on down. Okay, and you can see out the back, everything's cascading down the, expanded out the back. I don't know how long it takes to run one of these, but we're going to time it. I'm guessing the whole 5-gallon bucket, 2 of these buckets, less than 2 minutes, certainly 3 minutes. So that's about 70 pounds, so 20-30 pounds a minute, maybe a little more. Now what we're doing here, we're dumping a heaping teaspoon, at the tablespoon actually, at the top of the low cleanup sluice. This is 3/16 expanded metal over 3/8 backed Nomad miner's moss. And when you dump the teaspoon at the top, it starts to dissipate and it flows down, and you can see some of those black streaks. And the trick is, those black streaks probably only should go about half the length of the sluice, because what we've seen is those black streaks are basically like sandbars, and the gold will skip along the top of that until the edges of the diamonds are showing and can suck the gold down into the diamonds. Alright, we're tearing down this little 3-inch cleanup sluice now after we got the sluice cons from Al's run. We've got a real concentration right here where we were dumping them in. And that's where we spooned them in. There's our big chunk that went right to the bottom, right at the top. And then there's really nothing even in the Nomad up above that, because we couldn't reach up there, the hose is in the way. So we started dumping in right about here, and we've got 4, 5, 6 inches of pretty high concentration of gold, and then it tapers off until you get about halfway down the sluice, which by the way is maybe 45 inches long, and then pretty much black sand down here.
Well, out of that last 10 inches of the cleanup sluice, there was very little gold, so the majority of it certainly was right up at the top where we dumped it in, and then it tapered off down the sluice, and there just wasn't much in the very bottom. We ended up with about 1/4 of an ounce in that first run, and then we did it again, so we ended up with about 1/2 ounce of gold, and most of that was minus 50. About 17% was minus 100 mesh, and there were a few little pickers in there, but most of it was real fine stuff. So this is what it looks like in the pan. We're going to shake it down a little bit so we can kind of see the different sizes. We've got a few pickers here. Those are the biggest pieces we got out of the whole thing. And as we shake it down here a little bit, we got the plus 50 down here and the minus 100 up here. And that's pretty much the whole thing. That's our 1/2 ounce of gold out of Al's pit in Nome, Alaska.